Hey guys, we are live, fresh from our tech difficulties. So bear with us for just a second. We're just kind of getting settled here. Welcome, Dr. Mian. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you so much for having me on the show.
Well, I am so excited to talk to you. And guys, I'm bringing to you, this is very exciting. This is Dr. Fawad Mian. How do you pronounce your last name? I don't want to mispronounce it. And I'm used to reading it. I've never actually heard it. So
It's okay. Yeah, it's Mian, M-I-A-N.
Oh, Mian,
Yep.
not Mian.
Mian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
So Dr. Mian is Mian, sorry,
Mm.
is a pain specialist, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Neurologist by trade, but do a lot of pain medicine over the last 7, 8 years.
Very, very exciting, and something that we take so for granted, how our bodies work until it doesn't, right? I mean, when I was pregnant, my kid was sitting on my sciatic nerve, and you just don't even think about how important your back is until you're in debilitating pain.
Yeah, absolutely. Until it's years later, people don't even bother with it.
Right. Well, so tell us a little bit more about what you do in your specialty and a little bit more about you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as I said before, I'm a neurologist by trade. Did my training out in New York at NYU, and over the years, as things went along, I saw a lot of patients that weren't getting any better with just traditional treatments that we're doing, whether it's regular medication that we're giving them, or sometimes even Botox injections, and wanted to find a different way of trying to help people. So that's when I started looking into different alternative treatments. And around the same time, I was also having issues with myself. So I was having issues with my foot and ankle, issues with my shoulder. I'd gone to a lot of different doctors just trying to find relief from doing different types of treatments, whether it be steroids or physical therapy, and I never was getting better. So that's when I kind of stumbled on to regenerative medicine. So started doing PRP, prolotherapy, and now adding stem cells to the regimen of everything that we're doing. So we've been doing regenerative treatments in our office now for the last 7 years. So it's something that's tremendously helped me. And it's also helped a lot of our patients along the way too as well.
Wow. So you mentioned Botox. I just recently got a lot of Botox for migraines.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, does PRP work on migraines too, or is it more joints and stuff?
Well, no, it can actually work pretty well for migraines. So, I mean, I've been injecting Botox, for instance, for like the last 10 years or so, but not every patient gets the kind of relief that they want. And then also, usually about 2 weeks before, people start feeling that it's starting to wear off, and they get really antsy. So they're like, where are my injections? So, with the PRP, if there's a lot of neck issues that are going on, we put PRP into the neck or platelet-rich plasma, and that could actually help get rid of the headaches completely for some folks. So that's been very helpful for those people where it's really indicated for them.
Wow, fascinating. I could talk to you about that all day long. I want to learn more about that actually. But today we want to talk about your book a little bit. So let's focus on your book for a moment. So first of all, why did you write your book?
Well, I wrote my book for a couple of different reasons, but really the main reason was just trying to get the word out there with everything that I'd gone through. And that's right, getting to pain-free.
There we go.
Exactly. How to make your body stop hurting so that you can start living again without the need for drugs or surgery. So that is the book, that we were able to put out. But this book really was, gave information on myself and my journey through all the pain troubles that I had and how it led into me being able to help other folks too as well. So it was really there as a tool to have some story to relate to other folks that, yes, even doctors such as ourselves can suffer through pain and go through things just like everybody else. But look, here's an alternative that's not widely looked at by a lot of other doctors in the medical community that can certainly help people get past their troubles with all of that. So there's a lot of information on pain that's there. But then there's also tips on diet, nutrition, on different things one would need to do to try to help optimize their health to a certain extent. And then obviously, for those people who want to take a deeper dive, then we always invite them to the office.
Nice. So let's talk a little bit about, kind of where you were when you decided that you were going to write this book. I don't mean geographically, I don't need to know that you were sitting in the kitchen necessarily or whatever,
Right.
But just in terms of where you were emotionally, mentally, did you have fears around writing or publishing, or do you just love writing and you're like, yeah, I'm just going to dive in?
Well, I mean, to write a book is daunting, I think, for anybody who's not used to writing books all the time. And so there was a time when, obviously, when I wasn't in medicine, that I'd write more. and you just have to get in that right kind of frame of mind. But then you think, oh my gosh, I have to write this book and it's got to be a certain number of pages. It takes all this time. But, I think just going through the process of just starting, it's like no different than anything else that you do in your life. For instance, like if somebody was going to exercise and you don't exercise, step one is just put your shoes on, your gym clothes on, and, take one step outside. It's no different with any other task that you're doing. So then just being able to, start putting those ideas together and then going through that. Yes, it did take some time, but as you go step by step, you start feeling more confident about what you're doing as time goes along to put all that information together.
Mm-hmm. And so what was your process? I mean, from the moment that you said, yeah, you know what, I'm going to write a book.
Mm-hmm.
What did you do? How did you get those ideas, from just being in your head to actually getting them out into a book?
Yeah, so I mean, one of the things that I started with first was ask, well, what are the most common frequent questions that one would ask when they come to the office for different things? And so I think it came up maybe like 10 or 20, I think it was about 20 questions or so. And so based on those questions that we had that were common that I just repeat over and over and over and over again, then we started, reverse engineering and started filling in the blanks. So we're putting in, different answers to different questions. What is PRP, or how can I get better, or what diet tips do I have, should I do to lose weight, or, to decrease my pain threshold and all that. So just basic questions like that. And then we just started bouncing information off and then doing the research with that. But that was the original process with that. And, it was tough in the beginning to do it, but then as I went along and I did those, and I felt like at least I had content information now that could be molded for the book.
Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, you wrote your FAQs, your questions, then you kind of answered them, you filled in the holes. How was that process for you? I mean, did you find it relatively easy? Were there, anything that was a big challenge or a hurdle that you had to get through?
I didn't feel it to be too difficult. But I didn't think it was like super easy. But I think, once you have that information in your mind, you can kind of just put it down on the paper, and then it's just a matter of getting it into the right kind of language, especially, if you're not used to, again, I did writing classes, in college and things like that. So it's not free flowing like it used to. So when you think in the medical field, unfortunately, you lose your writing skills.
Yeah.
You're not the best writer in the world anymore. So just being able to do that, but then just talking in colloquial terms to patients where there's relatability in terms of being able to understand what's being said, I think is kind of more of the strong point that I have. Even seeing patients in the office, again, just putting that together, became a bit easier with a little bit of time.
Mm-hmm. And I know your book has really only just recently come out. I mean, you're probably out of the authors that I've been interviewing this last few months, you're probably the most recent release. But even so, what's been the effect of having had written this book and having the physical book now?
Well, I mean, the effect, personally for me, it's been great because now at least I have my words out on paper, and now, even then when patients come in, you're going to tell them, what, I can give you the short little spiel in the office, but if you're kind of still a bit skeptical about things that we're doing, you want to learn more. Well, here's a book. It's on Amazon. Go, it's not it's an expensive book to get on Amazon. You can download it. You can read it on your own time. You can get more information and then come back to me, with more questions. So just using that as a tool for patients, I think, has been really helpful too as well. But then the other thing that we're just starting to implement now, as it has come out, we're trying to put together like a good marketing plan with information and excerpts and things like that we can send out to folks too as well, so that we can hone in on certain issues that they do have. So, those two aspects, I think it's been pretty helpful. And I think as time goes along, as we're implementing more of that, I think we'll see more dividends with that.
So have you found that that when patients read your book before coming in, that they're coming in a little bit better educated, maybe a little bit, of an easier consultation?
Absolutely. I finally, again, I mean, it's only been out only recently, but, I had a patient come in a couple of weeks ago, and she had read my book before she even came in. So I was like, that's fantastic. I mean, that's great. So, I mean, this is a person who's searching for answers. So that's the kind of people that I want to have to come into the office, people who have tried X, Y, and Z and are searching for answers. And now they're this book and they go, hey, this is great. This could potentially help me. So when I talked to her, we talked about the issues that, that she was having. She was like, I really like to do this. I think, I understand, I read about your story and what you went through, and this is kind of a little bit of me too as well. So just that relatability makes things so much easier to talk to them and to make them undergo treatment that it can potentially be life-changing for them.
Wow. So it can really kind of change that conversation, right? I mean, she feels like she has a personal connection to you,
Yeah.
and also understands what she's asking about.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the part that I love about this, because when I have patients come in and I mention this to them, they just give you like the glossy-eyed stare, like, what are you talking about? And so, again, there are different ways of just trying to educate patients through that, through email and obviously other tools too as well. But just having that book that's there, just to have them refer to that, and then just having excerpts and things like that can be tremendously helpful, and then making that leap for them to go the next step with everything.
Nice. Very cool. So, do you, or I shouldn't say do you, why do you think it's important for people to tell their stories or to write their book, or, to put themselves out there in that way?
I think, it takes a certain amount of bravery to put your information out there. And, I think it's important for people to really get their message out there, especially if they want to just really, really get their word out there to the people that they're trying to help. I think, especially if you're in that kind of service sector, in that realm where you're just trying to help people, or even if it's something else, just getting your words out there, just to have your voice heard to a certain extent is, tremendously helpful, not only just to boost your own self-confidence just because you wrote a book, but for those other people to know that there's something there that, somebody else has experienced or has gone through or whatnot, that you can totally relate. So, I think that's, tremendously important for that. And then, it gives you like a tremendous sense of accomplishment also when you're writing these things, because you never think, oh my gosh, I'm going to write a book and I'm going to take and do all this stuff. And, for some people, just that's the last thing that they want to do is just sit there in front of the computer and do all this. But, once you've started going through the process and then you finally complete it, then it's just, it's like, wow, you just create something that, that's awesome, for other people.
So what are you thinking for your next book?
Well, I mean, a couple of ideas in mind, taking it to that next level. We're trying to add in, stem cell treatments into our office and getting patients to that. So thinking more about stem cells too as well. And then also, there is also patients that come in with, sexual dysfunction too as well, where regenerative treatment, can help that too. So those are just some ideas that I had, at least, for now, that would be a little bit informational for people, especially for people who, don't even want to talk about these kinds of things, can be, really helpful. They know that this kind of stuff is out there to help those people.
Yeah, and they can start to get their answers in the privacy of their home before they have to voice the question.
All right, absolutely.
So, what advice do you have for other experts, entrepreneurs, doctors who are thinking about publishing a book but just haven't made that leap?
Well, the best advice I can give is that, if you really want to do something that's a little bit different and outside the box, and you're really passionate about your message in getting out there, then I think, you should really start that next step and thinking and exploring, well, what do I do? What do I really want to communicate to my patients? Or what is it that's something that, a lot of patients don't know about, that I think if they at least knew about this particular information, that it could make an impact on their lives. So I definitely think that, if you do have those ideas, that's something you should definitely try to put out there and work towards, so that you can help other people. It's not just the cookie cutter way of doing things, as we've always done for many years. There are other ways of communicating your ideas to other folks and relating that information so that they can get the help that they need.
Nice. Before I let you go, I know you're really busy. I don't want to keep you too long, but is there anything else you'd like to share?
Well, I mean, Sandy, I want to thank you for helping me with everything, with the book and all of that, and everything. I think it's been a wonderful process and going through that, and just putting through the ideas and putting the information together. So I definitely want to thank you for helping me making that a realization and making that a dream to put that out there for folks. So I definitely just wanted to show you my appreciation for that.
Oh, well, it was my pleasure. I enjoyed every minute of working with you, and I look forward to our next one.
Awesome.
But is there anything else that you'd like to share about your business, about, the things that you do for people out there watching, or about your book? I mean, or even about the weekend, whatever you want to talk about. The platform is yours.
All right. Awesome. So, I mean, in our office at Neuro Wellness, I mean, we do try to blend traditional and holistic approaches to helping people out, whether it comes to chronic pain, brain fog, headaches, neck pain, shoulder pain, memory problems, dizziness, and whatever it is. So, we really try to take a deep dive into your problems. And so, we're not just the traditional neurologist, and there's a reason why a lot of people are, coming from other places, or, jumping other docs to come here as well, because they're just looking for those different solutions. So anybody who's out there, at least in the Northeast area, that's really looking for a neurologist who's going to look at things differently for them, then, it certainly could be the right person for them if that's what they're looking for.
Nice. Where are you out of again? Remind me.
Well, we're in West Orange, New Jersey.
Okay.
So it's maybe like about 20, 30 miles outside of New York City. I don't know the exact distance, but not too far away from the New York City area. So it's not super far.
So anybody that can drive to New York can drive to you.
Absolutely. Everything in New Jersey is 20 minutes away, really. That's what we say down here.
Remember, I'm on the other coast here in San Diego, so I have no concept of East Coast geography. To me, it's
right.
all the Far East.
Right. Everybody thinks, everything past New York is, for people outside of New York, is considered, cornfields. So that's what they think. So, but we're in close proximity to a lot of different areas, so it's not like a far trek to get out of here if that's what they need, if they need the help.
Nice. So, where can people find out more about you? What website shall we send them to?
Well, for those folks who really want to learn more about my practice, and again, we're also updating our website, but the website is www.prolohealing.com. That's where they can find us.
How do you spell that?
PROLOHEALING. So prolohealing.com.
Okay, let's see if I can get this up on the screen there. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
So that's where you can find out more about Dr. Mian. And here you can, there's the book. Head on over to Amazon and you can check it out. You can get some of your questions about getting to pain-free without drugs or surgery answered. Where is my camera? There we go, right there. And if you'll bear with me, I have to do my own little commercial real quick too.
Sure.
And that is that if you are starting the process of writing your book, go on over to my website, Expert Book for You. That's Expert Book, the number 4 and the letter U.com, and you can download a free copy of my book, Book It. And then make sure you head over to Amazon and you pick up Getting to Pain Free by Dr. Mian.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you taking time out and, coming and talking to us.
I definitely appreciate having me on. Definitely was a wonderful experience.
And I'm really looking forward to learning all about stem cell therapy. Another topic I know nothing about yet.
All right. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Well, we'll put the book out together and we'll go from there.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, anyways, stay with me just a minute while I end the broadcast. Okay. And to all of you guys out there in YouTube and Facebook land, thank you for joining us. And until tomorrow, we have another special guest. And until next time, go forth and bookify. Bye.